Hi, this is Bonita from the Trauma Recovery School and the Trauma Recovery Method. So why do I behave the way I do and I don't realize it? And this is the role of implicit memory on our behaviors, thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Now, in psychology, implicit memory is one of the two main types of long-term human memory. It's acquired and used unconsciously and can affect thoughts and behaviors. Now, a good example of this is when you hear an emotional story from a friend and you feel an automatic emotional response, like becoming upset, or you might well up with tears. These feelings come from implicit memory. They're almost automatic. Now, implicit memory and explicit memory are both types of long-term memory. Information that you remember unconsciously and effortlessly is known as implicit memory, while information that you have to consciously work to remember is known as explicit memory. Now, knowing how to drive a car or read a book relies on implicit memory. Consciously recalling the items you've learned, like maths problems or stuff on your shopping list, involves the use of explicit memory. Explicit and implicit memory play big roles in shaping your ability to recall information and to interact in your environment. Now, therapists and scientists often focus more on the topic of explicit memory, but researchers are becoming increasingly interested in how implicit memory works and how it influences our knowledge and behavior. I want to focus on implicit memory. Implicit memory are often procedural, and it focuses on step-by-step processes that must be performed in order to complete a task. Now, another very important element is that implicit memory involves the autonomic nervous system, and this includes the limbic system, which regulates and establishes our emotional responses and what we call our states. Both of these have active roles when we've suffered past trauma. So the best example is this. You learn to ride a bike as a child, right? And years and years and years later, you decide to get out on a bike again. And the first time you get on it, you may be a little wonky, but hey, you find your balance. Everything kicks in. Your arms, your hands, your feet start to understand what it needs to do, and your balance does the rest. Let me give you a good example. 27 years ago, I was frying chicken drumsticks in a pan full of fat. Did I even do that? Like, you'd never dream of doing that now. Well, I was deep in thought, and my friend came into the kitchen. He came up behind me, and just as I was picking up this piece of chicken to check the temperature, I got a fright and I dropped the chicken back in the hot oil. Now, you may or may not know this, but I'm pretty short. But this meant that my face was pretty close to the hot oil pan, and my face would be closer to it than most people, and the splashback from the oil went onto my face and my lip just here. I was pretty badly burnt and I was rushed to A&E. Now, it was a pretty painful 48 hours, but today my body still reacts when I fry anything using hot oil. I don't deep fry anything anymore, but my implicit memory still reacts 27 years ago. Now, can you see the catastrophic implications of implicit memory from past trauma on our body and mind? The response to a trigger or a stimulus like footsteps or aftershave or location is huge. Now, let's look at what is actually the problem with implicit memory. Let's take a closer look. Implicit memory becomes automatic over time with repetition. Now, that's a good thing to master when you want to learn a procedure, but it's not great when you relive a negative traumatic experience like a car accident. Implicit memory begins with learning skills and mastering a task, a good thing to master, but when you've suffered past trauma, your body learns to master the task of avoidance, protection, and repetitive negative behaviors. Basically, it becomes overprotective and confused between our safety and danger. And here we need to work with the hippocampus to allow reprocessing and reprogramming. Now, implicit memory can result in priming or responding the same way to similar stimuli or situations. A good thing to master, but not when you overreact or self-sabotage. For example, not being able to express yourself at work when you're talking to a certain person, feeling you cannot present in front of people, or avoiding social situations or topics. Now, implicit memory can often depend on conditional associations, context, and different cues. A good thing to master when you have to deal with stuff in a certain way. But when someone comes up to you and they say to you, "Can I have a private word?" and you become really panicked, and then you believe that maybe you're going to be abused again, maybe you're going to lose your job again, maybe you've done something wrong again. Now, as a trauma recovery therapist, I see these responses in my clients every day. Someone who lived through an attack, as I did many years ago, they may have panic attacks and they are chronically in fight-flight mode. Now, this is an autonomic nervous system response, but it may not be that you are triggered in the moment. It's become a learned skill, and it's a primed response with an association. This type of response causes exhaustion, self-sabotage, and even burnout. So how do you deal with this type of trauma response? Well, I can tell you how. Using our Trauma Recovery Method program, we use the right individualized plan for you, the right reprogramming tools and techniques, and the right support to help you recover from trauma. If you want further information about our Trauma Recovery Method program, why not email me at Bonita, that's Bonita, at thetraumarecoverymethod.com, and we'll send you our Trauma Recovery Method program webinar and booking page link to book a call with us today. Have a great day. Bye.